G'day, it's Heath here from pickinglessons.com. Monaghan Jig. This is great on the guitar. Very challenging. We've got a lot of cross picking and a lot of awkward techniques for the right hand being a jig and the movement of the melody. We're in the key of E minor. There are 4 parts of the tune, so it's a big one. In a moment, we're going to take a look at part A of the tune here to get us going with some of the techniques. But if you head to pickinglessons.com, you better grab yourself a copy of the chart that we'll be working through. And also in the member section there, you'll be able to find the next part of this lesson where we'll break down the 3 remaining parts of the tune. Okay, so part A, let's have a look at that one together now. We're going to run through it slowly first and then we'll break down looking at some of the techniques for the right hand and have a look at the melody. 1 and 2 and Okay, so part A. Now straight up, we have some cross picking in our playing. We're in 6/8 time, we're in the key of E minor. So let's have a look at what's happening here. Now to kick us off, the 6/8 time signature, as a reminder, we have 2 beats to the measure, separated into 2 groups of 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 pulses, separated off into 6/8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Now, if we take a look at perhaps measure 2 to kick us off for the right hand, the general approach that we want to take is to emphasize each pulse with a downstroke and then alternate our way through. So what we end up with is a down, up, down, up, down picking. Now that can be challenging as we move through our cross picking. Now you could sweep your picking through there, but for this tune and this lesson, what we're going to do is second measure. Here's the example. We're going to go down, up, down, up, down. Doesn't matter where we go, what string we move to. Down, up, down is our movement through that 6/8 rhythm when we have 2 groups of 3/8 notes, like in measure 2 and measure 3 and measure 4. Measure 1's a little different. We'll come back to that. So let's have a look at measure 2. Just looking at those notes, we're holding that E there on fret 2. First 3 notes, the cross picking section to the melody, down, up, down. Emphasizing our pulse. Then the next note is another downstroke. So this is where it's going to be challenging, especially once we get it up to tempo. It's quite fast. So that downstroke on the F sharp there, after a downstroke on the E. So 2 downs in a row. Once we get the end of the first beat and the beginning of the second beat, 2 downstrokes. That's the challenge, but it's going to emphasize our pulse. It's really important. So measure 2 complete. Picking hand, down, up, down, up, down, repeat. This is a good starting point as an exercise. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and so on. You can practice the right hand just on its own. Just mute those strings off. Down, up, down, up, down. That's the core of the 6/8 rhythm, and we want to follow that wherever the melody goes. Now, the other variation that we come across in this tune quite a bit is in what we find in measure 1. And in measure 1, we have a dotted 8th note and a 16th on that second beat. So first beat, down, up, down, 3/8, but then to the F sharp, we'll get this little skip to the rhythm. And that's 4, 5, and 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And to pick that one, we will still want to play down, up, down, but just that length of the first part of the rhythm is slightly longer because of the dot. So it's a dotted 8th note, half its value again in time. Now, let's practice that as an exercise. Ready and So picking hand, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, that pause in there, that's really important. Let's go and put together first and second measures as an exercise. And if you can play these first 2 measures, get the right hand following along like we've been talking about here, and you're gonna find that the rest of the tune, you'll start to build on that easier. This is really important to get right now. So first and second measures, not too fast. Ready and and repeat. Picking hand, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and so on. So sit and practice that exercise. Make sure you're aware of what your right hand is picking, the picking direction. That's really important. Try to feel the 2 pulses in your playing. So again, if you're feeling the pulse, we have the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Or we can count it in 6/8, but we generally speaking, you can count it in 2 pulses. Okay, so practice that one up. Moving on through measure 3, we have a repeat of the same idea. Down, up, down, down, up, down for the right hand. And then measure 4, this D arpeggio. A, F sharp, D, D, F sharp, A. And in a situation like that, leave that second fret, the A note, with your first finger in place because you're coming back to it. Let's sit and prop and practice these 4 measures. We'll just run through it once, but you can practice this, pause the video and practice it yourself. It's really important to get, at this point, really consolidate the right hand, make sure the right hand picking is really accurate. You're comfortable with the melody. The notes are pretty straightforward, and for the left hand, it's really about getting this right hand accurate and consistent. So from the top, first 4 measures, 1 and 2 and... Okay, there we go. So second half of the tune, we start out in a similar way. Now these next 2 measures, 7 and 8, before the repeat, this is the same pretty much in every section except for the 4th part. And this turn around before we hit the repeat. You can hold onto these notes and let them ring out a little bit longer. That second finger there. That first finger on the A, that's okay. To the D arpeggio to finish it off. Practice that one, and again, leave those fingers down. It will certainly make it easier to play. If you take those off, it will disrupt the melody as well. It kind of sound a bit more disjointed, which is okay, but it will be a little bit harder to play. So leave those fingers down. So yeah, leave them down. It certainly makes it easier. Okay, so practice up part A. Get to know it from memory. Because it's played so fast, really do spend time consolidating the tune to memory so you know it really well. But as you're doing that, remain aware of your right hand and what your picking is doing. If you haven't played many jigs, this will be a real challenge. Now, if you have, this is still a challenge because of the cross picking. So this is quite an advanced tune for the right hand, I would suggest. It's quite a tricky one. So spend some time working through it. We develop more cross picking as we work through the other sections, and there's lots more variation to come. So really sit and practice this part before you do move on. So pickinglessons.com, you better grab yourself the tablature we've been working through, which has the finger marking for the left and the right hand, the picking as well, all 4 parts in there. And in the member section at pickinglessons.com, we'll continue this lesson and break down the remaining sections. I'll see you there.